Hello, and welcome to Lionheart Dreamweaving. My name is Matthew, and today I have for you a pick-a-card style tarot reading. And the subject is Zen Parable Life Advice. And I'm really excited about this one today, actually, because I have a new deck. And this is this one here. And this is the Osho Transformational Tarot. Is I think what the original name was. It's not really a tarot deck at all. It doesn't have any arcanas or suits, and it only has 60 cards. So it's definitely not. It's more like an oracle card deck. So I think I'll call it the Osho Oracle deck. And then for clarifying details and adding more depth and context, we have Osho Zen Tarot. So this Osho Zen Tarot is commercially available. It's very common. You can just buy it on Amazon or any retailer who sells tarot cards. But this other one, this Osho Oracle deck, this is very rare. It's out of print. It's been out of print for a long time, and I don't even believe that they printed many of them to begin with. So this is something you may never actually see anywhere else because it just doesn't exist very much in the world. But it was the forerunner of the Osho Tarot, Zen Tarot. So, yes, very exciting. It's filled with, every card comes with a parable. So I will tell you the story of the parable and then fill in the details intuitively with the rest of the cards and try and bring out some personalized messages for you with that. Okay, so without any further ado, you can choose your piles here. Pile 1 has this heart-shaped key. Pile 2, this key of life. Very epic. Pile 3 is, I believe it's a bike lock key, if I'm very honest. And then this fourth one is the fourth one is my house key. So yeah, it's maybe one of the more important ones there, if not these first two. So you can find the timestamps in the description down below if you have not already, and if you need a moment to pause the video and take time to select your pile, you can do that now. Otherwise, I will just jump right into the readings. Hello, pile number 1, and welcome to your reading. So, I'm just going to jump straight into opening your cards here, and let's see what you got. You have Ultimate Accident. Oh, wow, okay. This one is really interesting. The concept of the parable is quite interesting, but we'll get into that in a moment. First, I'm going to open the rest of the cards here, flip the rest of the cards here for you. So you have the Outsider, which is the 5 of Pentacles. Courage, which is the Strength card. Traveling, which is the 8 of Wands. And finally, Completion, which is the World card here. So, okay. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this Zen parable to you from the original source material. And then I'm going to add some personalizing context and details here and with the tarot storyline here we have. So give me one sec and I will read this parable to you. It's Ultimate Accident. Be authentic in your search. Do everything for it. It is the thirst to know the original behind the reflection that makes you worthy of the ultimate accident. Chiyono, this woman here, Chiyono, went from one monastery to another to take sannyas, to become a nun. But even the great masters refused her because she was so beautiful. The monks would have forgotten God and everything. Oh boy, human nature. So, finding no other way, she burned her face and scarred her whole face. And then she reached a master, and he couldn't even recognize whether she was a woman or a man. So then she was finally accepted as a nun, and she was so ready. Her search was very authentic. She was worthy of the accident. It was earned. She studied, meditated for 30, 40 years continuously, and then suddenly one night, she was looking at the moon reflected in her pail of water that she was carrying. Even reflections are beautiful because they reflect the absolute beauty. A real seeker who has known so much in the reflection, it was so beautiful, such music was there, that now a desire has arisen to know the source of the reflection. As she was walking along, she was watching the full moon reflected in the pail of water. Suddenly, the bamboo strips that held the pail together broke, and the pail fell apart. The water rushed out, and the moon's reflection disappeared, and Shiono became enlightened. She wrote this verse about that moment. This way and that way, I tried to keep the pail together, hoping the weak bamboo would never break. Suddenly, the bottom fell out. No more water, no more moon in the water. Emptiness in my hand. Enlightenment is like an accident, but don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that we don't do anything for it, because if you don't do anything for it, even the accident will not happen. It happens only to those who have been doing much for it, but it never happens because of their doing, and it will never happen without their doing. All of your meditations will just create an accident proneness, an invitation. That's all. Be ready for the accident, for the unknown, ready, waiting, and receptive. Without the invitation, the guest will never come. Okay. So, that's a really fascinating story. I think the concept is very fascinating. It's kind of teaching about the nature of enlightenment, and it's just so interesting to think about it in that way, that you can't make it to happen. Any of your efforts of doing will not yield that kind of result. It just doesn't work that way. But at the same time, if you don't make the efforts, then it doesn't open up even the possibility for it to come. So yeah, that's really fascinating. So then in the storyline I'm seeing here in this timeline, that this is actually kind of laying out a chronological depiction for me of the story I just read to you of this woman here, because it's kind of like at the beginning she was feeling shut out, of her. She was feeling shut out of the life path, the lifestyle, which was her soul was calling her to, right? And she was so fully committed to this, that she had the courage to to disfigure herself. It's very extreme, of course. We don't, these parables are, I think, metaphorical, but you get the point. It's showing the amount of courage and commitment that she had to her spiritual path. And then traveling, so this long journey through this process. And also I'm seeing, like, here with this courage, it's like the plant that grows through this like rocky soil, and then this traveling cart is also this like long mountainous kind of terrain. So it's like this metaphor for the path of growing through all of these different challenges. And then here is that moment at the end. It comes really beautifully, this completion. So this is like representing that kind of enlightenment moment when, it just happens through its own accord that this last little piece of the puzzle clicks in, and like a whole new consciousness is achieved, and liberation from the bondages of where we had started. So kind of the message that I'm seeing for you here is to, but yeah, it's to really just commit to the path, to your growth, to being your best self. I guess without any expectations, or because again, it's like if you're trying to achieve some type of enlightenment, that it doesn't come, that just blocks it. But at the same time, if you don't live a lifestyle which is in alignment to that, that also blocks it, right? So there's this it's this very, very, very subtle paradox here coming. And to be honest, it can be, for some of us, it happens that way, that part of our spiritual journey is to kind of get, for some period of time, wrapped up in the striving for enlightenment, trying to make it happen, or trying to manifest something in particular, or like whatever the case may be. And yeah, because we have all of our human needs kind of like wrapped up into it, and our ego, and like our wounds, and all of that, and the pain and suffering is to, like, there's very deep drive for humanity inside of us to want to escape our pain and sufferings. So that is natural, but the point being that if you anyway devote yourself to this higher calling, whatever it is for you that you're personally feeling called to, and you find some type of spiritual practices that resonate with you, and that you feel some benefits of doing, right? Then you are opening yourself to receiving something fundamentally transformational of your entire being, of your of your soul, the part of you that extends beyond even like a single lifetime, right? So yeah, I think that's the advice. That's the life advice for you here, is to commit to the path, but without any expectations, because and just getting into the concept of that, the kind of goal you're shooting for, or whatever, the if there's even, it can be set as a goal in that kind of way. But that's just our Western mind's way of interpreting everything, really. So it's going to be more like an accident, because it is fundamentally out of your control. It's more in the hands of the universe when that breakthrough, that completion moment will occur for you. But you do need to create the right conditions for it to happen, and you need to go through the whole journey. it's somehow a part of you maturing into your highest self, your most refined, spiritually wise, mature self, is to go through this whole process with all the highs and lows and the frustrations that can come along with that, and to maybe even get caught up for some time in, trying to hold the pail together. So that was the other thing. Like this woman, she was in her poem, she was saying she tried so hard to keep her pail together, hoping that the weak bamboo would never break. So it's reminding me of like self-improvement. Um, so if you never do the self-improvement, the work, then you won't um, put yourself on a path to improve. But at the same time, like, this little small self is the thing that will break and to bring through your higher self in the end. So I think that's all. I'm going to end your reading here. If that was helpful or interesting for you, please like the video and comment if you have something to share. I'd love to hear it. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading, and I will right away jump into flipping these cards for you. So you have hope. Okay, really interesting. So yeah, that is going to be the overall energy, and that comes with a Zen parable. I'll read that to you in a moment. But first, we're going to also flip these other cards here to give some more context afterwards, after the story. So you have participation, which is the Four of Wands. You have inner voice, which is High Priestess. You have the Creator, that is the King of Wands. And change, which is Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to start, like I said, by reading the Zen parable to you from this source material here. And then we're going to fill in the personalized message for you more with these other cards. So it says here, hope. Don't get lost in the trap of hope. Don't get caught in the idea that help is coming from outside yourself. The other is not going to fulfill you. Fulfillment is within. I have heard about a hunter who got lost in the jungle. For 3 days, he could not find anybody to ask the way out, and he was becoming more and more panicky. 3 days of no food and 3 days of constant fear of wild animals. For 3 days, he had not been able to sleep. He had been sitting awake on some tree, afraid that he might be attacked. There were snakes, there were lions, there were many wild animals. The 4th day, early in the morning, he saw a man sitting under a tree. You can imagine his joy. He rushed up and he hugged the man and he said, "What joy!" And the other man hugged him, and they were both immensely happy. Then they asked each other, Why are you so ecstatic?" The first said, "I was lost and I was hoping to meet somebody." And the second said, "I am also lost and hoping to meet somebody. But if we're both lost, then the ecstasy was for nothing, because now we're just lost together." Oh, these make me laugh. I really like that one. So yeah, hope. Right. So that's interesting. It kind of reminds me of this whole the idea of the blind leading the blind. You know what I mean? You've heard that phrase before. And yeah, so and this just the concept of seeking for fulfillment and answers and guidance outside of yourself is well, it's misguided, right? Because it's we're all a little bit lost in this experience, and just naturally, and the best guidance system any single person has is through their own inner compass. So it's all these people who end up um, wanting someone else, some external authority figure to have the answers, um, and have the leadership and the direction. That's so deep in humanity, um, and it's kind of like what this whole world is based on. And like I said, it's like that blind leading the blind kind of thing. So I'm seeing here you have participation. So this is first this is talking to me about, because participation for me, this card, I often get, because there's 4 people here on this card contributing their energy into a single unit. And I often get with this card like a sense of collaboration, or like social connection or social contact, participating with other people in the endeavors of life. But so with this particular context in this reading, I want to say it's actually more, it's representing that looking to the external world for guidance, looking outside of yourself for the guidance, when really what you're looking for is your inner voice, right? But the thing is, like, the inner voice is very subtle, it's very quiet, and quite often it doesn't actually speak in words. It's like, it can be like very subtle feelings, for example, or nudges, or like instincts, yes or no, or like, or even sometimes it can come through as like this urge or desire to make life choices that, at least at first, at least on the surface, don't seem to make the most rational sense, but they unfold in a kind of butterfly effect way and end up leading us actually on the exact path we're meant to be on, right? So, but the problem is this external world, and this, like, everything else. It's loud, it's chaotic, it's busy, it's stressful, it's pressuring, it like commands our attention, it's bossy sometimes, all of that, so. And life can, just straight up, like, life can be confusing and scary sometimes. Like, sometimes you can feel really lost, and it's very tempting to want to just look to some other person to just guide you out of that. And as helpful as sometimes other people can be, on a fundamental level, there's some things that you can they're so personal to you, like the directions of your life compass are so personal to you. What your soul is calling you to do and go and experience and be and whatever, is, you can only discover it through this process of tuning into your inner voice. And so here then you have, coming on this other side, the creator. Okay. And I'm seeing the similarities of these 2 cards, if you look. Just even the shape here behind this guy's head, and it's like a bit of the same shape as here. But the difference being, instead of these 4 like small figures of like other people, kind of all participating and blending in the directing of your life. You know what I mean? This is like a whole bunch of different people's influences all blending together to push and pull and sway the directions of your life based on their interests and what they're guided to do. But I'm getting the sense that when you start to take the direction from your own inner compass, from your own inner voice, from your higher self, then you are in a much more empowered state from that point on. Okay. And you really, like, in a way, step up to become a much more active creator of your own reality, rather than potentially being pushed and pulled around by it, or even in extreme cases being feeling like victim of your circumstances. So yeah. And then this change coming in here. So yeah, like the sense I'm getting is like whatever you're going on in your life circumstances right now, like the it's needing a shakeup, it's needing a change and a new direction here. But the issue is that change can be so broad. It can be so broad, and it can mean so many different things. And yeah, so I'm seeing also again like a similarity of these the colors. There's 4 colors here, and also to here. And so like the amount of factors that are influencing how our lives change, again, like there could be this like butterfly effect kind of thing. So to get the best results for yourself, that you have to. You're right. Yeah, yeah. So you need to get in tune with this and make your choices from this energy here. This is what you need to be tuned into here. This feeling, this intuition, this instinct here, and it can guide you in many subtle ways, and it can be a lot of like kind of twists and turns to that journey. And you know, when you're going through the process of change, it's not necessarily clear. It can be a bit confusing, and you can feel at some point lost. But you just have to have a bit of trust and faith in your own inner compass system to help you to navigate through that and out of the jungle, so to speak, right? Out of the, especially if you're in a not so ideal situation or even dangerous situation, like in this story. So the point being that each step that you take when you're following this guidance, it might not be clear. It might not be perfectly clear, or like on the surface level clear, show like where that's all going, or where is it all culminating to. Or, you know, it can bring in things that happen in a bit of a chaotic and seemingly random kind of way, but it's actually like alignments of synchronicities coming through. But these things happen in what is seemingly very irrational ways that we don't really have any control over, and that's what we call like random and chance and fate, or all those things. Well, the message here is that you can take some type of empowered ownership over your life and create the type of energy that at least the blueprint of what you're supposed to be coming here to do, what you as an individual are bringing into this world. Yeah. So like I'm seeing this person, like they're holding this energy in their hands and they're shaping it and molding it. So you can to some degree, by by controlling your energy and following your inner nudges and trusting that spiritual part of yourself. Oh, and I'm getting now the idea that maybe some of you have a little bit of problem to trust that part of yourself, or to be able to discern what is really like inner guidance and what is just worries and fears and all of that. So it's a bit of just a trial and error process, I suppose, and just to dig deep into these things and to figure out to what you're able to let go of, which is obstructing. Um, yeah, and you can also tell like what is really legitimately your inner voice and what is not, based on the outcome of following that um, guidance. So if you follow the guidance and it's not coming out with positive outcomes for you, then it's maybe a sign that that you're not tapping into this part of the more subtle part of yourself, and you're still taking more influence from here. But yeah, then when you are tapped into this, then the things will start to change and like line up in rather synchronistic ways, and it can become, yeah. So, okay. I'm going to just end the reading for you here because I think I'm starting to ramble and it's already getting long. So I'm going to stop now, and thank you very much. Please, if you like the video, then click the like button, and if you would like to share something in the comment section, I love to read that. And otherwise, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. I will go ahead and just jump straight into revealing your cards here. So you have, from the Osho Oracle, sex. Okay. Very nice. And then, so first I'm going to open the rest of these cards, reveal the rest of these cards, and then we'll read from the Zen parable here, and then the rest of these will fill in the context of the storyline to give you some more personalized life advice. So you have here Beyond Illusion, which is the Judgment card. You have Creativity, which is the Empress. You have Morality, which is the Queen of Swords. You have Understanding, which is the Page of Cups. Okay, so let's start here with reading your Zen parable. Okay, so it says, sex. Let sex be the first step, but not the last. When two lovers are in deep sexual orgasm, they melt into each other. Then the woman is no more the woman, the man is no more the man. They become just like the circle of yin and yang, reaching into each other, meeting into each other, melting, forgetting their own identities. That's why love is so beautiful. This state is called mudra. The final state of orgasm with the whole world is called Mahamudra, the great orgasm. Orgasm is a state where your body is no longer felt as matter. It vibrates like energy, electricity. It vibrates so deeply from the very foundation that you completely forget that it is a material thing. It becomes an electric phenomenon, and it is an electric phenomenon. And by, if they love each other and they surrender to each other, they surrender to this moment of pulsation, of being energy, and they are not scared of it. When the body loses boundaries, when the body becomes like a vaporous thing, when the body evaporates substantially and only energy is left, a very subtle rhythm. You find that it is if you are not. Only in deep love can one move into it. Love is like death. You die as far as you think you are a body. You die as far as your material image is concerned. You die as a body and you evolve as an energy, vital energy. And when the partners start vibrating in a rhythm, the beats of their hearts and bodies come together. It becomes a harmony, and they are two no more. Now they are a circle and they vibrate together. They pulsate together. Their hearts are no longer separate. Their beats are no longer separate. They have become a melody, a harmony. It is the greatest music possible. All other musics are just faint things compared to it, shadow things compared to it. And then when the same thing happens with not just another person, but with the whole of existence, then it is Mahamudra. It is the great orgasm. Oh, wow. Imagine that whole orgasmic experience with the entire world, with all of life, all of existence. So what I'm seeing for you here, the specific kind of life advice, or it's coming through as a sexual awakening. Okay, so because like first this beyond illusion here, I'm seeing this as this this awakening, because it's the judgment card, so it's like reaching a new level of consciousness here in regards to your sexuality and sexual expression and relationship with your body and with pleasure and with orgasms and creativity here. So this is the Empress. So this is a very strong archetype of feminine sexuality, right? Like this is the epitome of feminine sexuality. And like, just look at this picture, like, oh my God, if that's not I don't know what is. But this is what our society has done to that sexuality. And when I say feminine sexuality, it kind of extends to all sexuality in general. But like this vital force that comes through the feminine, which is like the kind of alluring and magnetizing force in human sexuality, regardless of whatever you fall on the spectrum of gender and sexuality. We all have, in some way, archetypal, universal yin and yang principles at play in ourselves. So anyway, there's a big contrast here. This is the alive and awake and fully embodied version, and this is well, to be honest, this is just where most people are at. This is where our society is at. This is all the shame. This is all the repression. This is all that. And then here you have it's so beautiful. I'm so happy for you. And here you have the bars fading away. You have all of this fading away, and the birds are just flying free. Flying free. Free skies of fucking. Yeah. I'm sorry. Childish humor here. So there's a liberation. There's a sense of like liberation coming in this card, like liberating yourself from repressive constructs, which, you know, honestly, these are like the repression of sexuality. It's centuries, like, or if not millennia. Oh, you know, so many generations, and it's only been since relatively recently, I guess maybe you could mark it around the 1960s. There's been began a revolution of gradually, progressively liberating our sexuality, um, and allowing it to soar to new heights in a way as well as, and also discovering um, because with this beyond illusion, I'm getting also the sense and of discovering, and with this talk about the connecting to all of existence. So the elevation of our sexuality into also um, a form of spiritual growth and expansion as well, and a portal of liberating our consciousness into uh, greater realms of experience and being for ourselves. Because like they were saying, like it's a quite a unique thing, a function of our bodies that we have, um, that we can reach this ecstatic state where we're funneling so much vital energy, so much life force energy, this pure creative energy, with um, and the pleasure of feeling that, and channel it through ourselves in such a volume and intensity that we begin vibrating almost like it completely changes our felt experience of our body, to not be such a dense material object, but to feel like electricity, to feel like energy, and to understand more of the capabilities of a human being. Because I feel like a lot of the lost capabilities of higher capabilities of human beings actually comes from locking up this root chakra, like repressing down this like root and sacral um, energies here, this morality, like by cutting people off from their sexuality, and putting so much shame and guilt and belief systems and repressions and blah blah blah, um, and then all of that, it actually has greatly disconnected us from our power as well, um, in a very like primal way. And yeah, and then it's become also unfortunately rather like perverted then as well. Hmm. But so the thing, but that's a tangent. I don't need to go into that point. So the because the message for you here is like you're this whole reading is like that you are awakening and transcending out of this. So yes, kudos to you. And I guess the only life advice here is to really just like embrace exploring your sexuality and embrace exploring your body, and to and I guess the best advice I would give you is to actually like tune into the sensations inside your body, like try to like when you when you're having sexual experience, whether that be with a partner or just with yourself. And it's actually, I think, better to start originally practicing this with yourself, um, to take the mental aspect out of it entirely, the fantasy aspect, like no porn, no images, no fantasizing, and to just focus on like what is you actually feeling in your body. And at first, I think that can limit in a way the arousal of some people, especially if you've just like really conditioned yourself to like need the mental fantasy aspect of it. But um, when you really like drop into your body and learn how to be deeper and more like fully embodied when you're having sexual experiences, then it unlocks whole new dimensions of it, and you can go so much more into the energetic realm and the orgasmic realm and like surf those waves for a much longer period of time, not just like sudden like burst of energy and then it dissipates and then blah. Okay, so that's all. And I'm going to end your reading here. And if you benefited from this, if you liked it or entertained by it, then please like the video. And if you'd like to comment, I always love to read your comments. And otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Hello, pile number 4. I'm just going to welcome to your reading, and I'm just going to go ahead and flip the cards for you right away and get into it. So we have from the Oracle, Osho Oracle, remaining centered. Sorry, remaining centered. Yes. Interesting. And then we have breakthrough, which is the, what is that, justice? No. Is that? No. I think it's justice. We are the world, which is the 10 of Pentacles. Politics, which is the 7 of Swords. And the Fool. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to read to you this parable, the Zen parable, and then we're going to flesh it out and add some details and personal advice with these tarot cards here. So let's see. I'm going to read you the parable here. Stay centered. Don't allow yourself to be manipulated by the opinions of others or by their attempts to push you here and there. Don't fall to the level of others. Once it has happened in the days of Buddha that one of the most famous and beautiful prostitutes fell in love with a Buddhist monk, a beggar. She asked him to come to her home and stay during the rainy season for 4 months when the Buddhist monks stopped their traveling. The monk said, "I will have to ask the master. If he allows, I will come." The other monks became very jealous. When the young man came to the Buddha and made the request, many heard it. They all stood up and said, "This is wrong. Even to have allowed that woman to touch your feet was wrong. Because Buddha has said, don't touch a woman. Don't allow a woman to touch you. You have broken the rule, and now you're asking to stay with that woman for 4 months." But Buddha said, "I have told you not to touch a woman, not to be touched by a woman, because you are not yet centered. For this man, that rule is no longer applicable. I have been watching him. He is no more part of the crowd." And to the monk he said, "Yes, you are allowed." Now this was too much. Never had it been done before. All the disciples were angry, and for months, thousands of gossips went around exaggerating what was happening in Amparali's house, that the monk was no longer a monk, that he had fallen. And after 4 months, when the monk came back, followed by Amparali, Buddha looked at them and said, "Woman, have you something to say to me?" She said, "I have come to be initiated by you. I tried to distract your disciple, and I failed. This is my first defeat. I have always succeeded with men, but I could not distract him, not even an inch. A great desire has arisen in me too. How can I attain this centering? He lived with me, and I danced before him. I sang before him. I tried to allure him in every way, but he always remained himself. Not for a single moment have I seen any cloud in his mind or any desire in his eyes. I tried to convert him, but he has converted me, and not saying a single word. He has not brought me here, and I have come on my own. I have known for the first time what dignity is. I would like to learn the art. And so she became a disciple of Buddha. He always walks by himself. There is no way to push him here or there. He remains utterly himself. So centered he that so rooted is he in his being. When one has known Turiya, the fourth state, then there is no distraction. Then one can live anywhere. Don't try to change your circumstances of your life. Try to change your attitudes. Use the outer situation to change the inner state. Changing the situation is not much of a change. You are befooling yourself and the world. The real religion consists of changing the state of consciousness. Search for the higher. Once you have known the higher reaches of your energy, the lower starts withering of its own accord. That is real religion. Okay, really nice. So, yeah, for you, okay, I'm seeing this as like the sense of, like being in the world but not of the world, right? Um and to hmm, to know your inner self so well that all of the glitz and glam and distractions and desires of the world aren't anymore pulling you here and there and manipulating you, you know? And yeah, there's like a breakthrough. Um, so this is like that what they were talking about at the end of that story there of like reaching a higher state of energy. So like and changing your circumstances not by interacting with the external, but changing your own mindset about it enough that the world starts to shift around you instead, because you've when you're not attached to that, uh, yeah, when you're not so attached to it. And so the sense I'm getting at with this, we are the world and the politics. So this is like the way that the social game that we kind of play of power games and people trying to manipulate each other or manipulate people and trying to manipulate the masses um, for their own benefit and to enslaving people and all of this really nasty goings on that's been common in our world. It's kind of been the basis of many modern societies. It's these like manipulations and these like worldly attachments and these like pursuits of these like glitzy, glammy things, which are ultimately hollow and unfulfilling. And all of the mental health issues, that come from living in that way. But the sense I'm getting it, so it's like remaining centered. So it's like you can see this person's center of their being is like lit up. It's all like exploding. The reality is like exploding out from there. How do I explain the message I'm seeing? Jeez. Um, hmm. It's like this sense of knowing yourself so well and having your priorities straight and being like really well grounded and centered in yourself that you become kind of unshakable and unfazable by um, all of these social pressures and manipulations and power games of the world. Because when you're not really like attached to the outcomes, when you're not So when your fulfillment and your peace and your joy and all of these things are not dependent on the perfection state of your external circumstances, then other people have a lot less power to manipulate you, you know, and push you around and get you to do things. So, and yeah, and then so here at the end, this fool, this is like, well, you know, it's like taking a leap, but I'm seeing that this is like the, I'm seeing it in this sense of like actually like letting go, and getting into like a more, well, it's a new path and it's a new state of being. It's a new like, it's a new way of being in your life, a new way of approaching your life. It's like when you've made that mindset shift, then, and then through that mindset shift, you almost are like approaching the world through fresh eyes in a way. Yeah, that's I want to interpret it like that for you. So yeah, the advice here for you, the life advice, is really just to do the inner work, to commit to finding your own center and finding your own inner strength and fulfillment, so that, and like removing the like unnecessary attachments to the circumstances, so that those circumstances then aren't creating a whole lot of suffering through these kind of twisted games we play with each other, if that makes any sense. I sure hope it did. So I'm going to end the reading for you here. And yes, if you liked the video, please click the like button if you felt that it benefited you somehow. And if you would like to tell me something about it, about what it means to you or your experience lately, I love reading your comments. And yeah, otherwise, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye.